If you're having some trouble swallowing and you want to use supplements to help correct that problem, but you can't even swallow the supplement capsules, well, in this video, I'm going to give you some insights that may help you out. Let's jump in.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So I was actually forwarded a question from someone, and I don't know this person. I don't know the situation going on. So if this is you and you're hearing this, just know that I'm not telling you what to do because I don't know the reason you're having trouble swallowing. There can be a variety of issues that can create that problem. And if you want to dig into that a little bit more, we'll put a link in the description below for the video on my experience with trouble swallowing, because I had some issues like that years ago when I was having all of my trouble and I lost my voice for 8 years. But that video talks a little bit about how for most people, that trouble is caused by acid reflux and the acid coming back up and irritating that lining and kind of changing the structure of that esophageal lining at the cellular level. And that can restrict that function of the kind of movement that kind of pushes everything down. So this person sent in a question that said, I was wondering if the HCl, beet flow, and digest enzyme could be taken out of the capsule, mixed in water, and then just kind of drink it. I have trouble swallowing capsules at the present moment. So this is a good question, and we use HCl to help acidify the stomach. We use that with a lot of our clients. It can be a very important part of correcting digestive malfunctions. And beet flow is a supplement from Empirical Labs that we use to help thin out the bile so that it flows correctly. And a lot of people are having acid reflux because they don't have the resources needed for the body to make that hydrochloric acid to acidify the stomach correctly. There's other causes of acid reflux, but it's common for someone not to be making enough HCl. So they really need to fix both sides of digestion, that stomach acid side, and make sure bile is flowing correctly to really be able to bust the food apart and get all the minerals and nutrients out of that food that the body needs to be able to make hydrochloric acid, so then the body can be making enough acid to trigger that LES valve at the bottom of the esophagus to close so that the acid doesn't come back up and we get that reflux and we get burned. So that's a path that a lot of people follow. But if a person can't even swallow the capsules, well, then that can be a problem. So I have heard from a lot of people that have success actually opening capsules, mixing it in a little bit of water, and then just drinking it. Some of the things inside the capsules might not be delicious. It might not be your favorite thing to drink. But that can be worth it if it's going to fix a problem, just to drink something that might be a little bit gross. A lot of people say that if they just hold their nose while they drink it real quick, they don't really taste it, and it's not really a big deal. But HCl, betaine HCl, which is what your stomach makes to acidify your food, this is very acidic. I don't feel like it's something that a person should put in water and then drink it, because then that acid is going down the esophagus and that liquid is going to coat that esophageal lining. And it might feel like reflux after it's sat there for a few minutes, but even if it doesn't, that acid is there and it's going to irritate that lining. And when someone can't swallow things, in a lot of cases, that lining is already irritated. And I don't love the idea of doing something that's going to magnify that. So I can't suggest for someone to put open up a capsule of HCl, put it in water, and then drink it. You know, I have heard from people that say, oh, well, if I could use apple cider vinegar, I can drink that down, because that can help acidify the food at least a little bit in the stomach, and it's not as acidic. But I've also heard from people that have an irritated esophageal lining, and if they drink apple cider vinegar, it feels like fire going down because it's already kind of a little bit inflamed. So you can test out things to see what works, but I just don't love the idea of creating more inflammation in that regard. I did have a client one time that she found these smaller HCl capsules, and the capsule itself was just a lot smaller. And I wish I could tell you what it was. I don't remember. I don't know what it was. It seems in my head like it was like Dr. Clark. If you search Dr. Clark HCl, I think that's a brand that makes HCl, and I think those were the smaller capsules. But she was able to swallow the smaller capsules, and that worked for her. And then she was able to fix her acid reflux by increasing that acid enough to trigger the LES valve to close so that the reflux wasn't coming back up and burning her. And then over time, that lining healed itself, and it wasn't so inflamed, and she was able to swallow larger capsules later on. But we've heard from plenty of people who have done fine opening up things like beet flow and putting that in water and drinking it. I don't know that I would do the digestive enzymes. A lot of those enzymes are made to help break down protein, and that's what the lining of the esophagus is. So it certainly would not be as irritating to that esophageal lining as betaine HCl would be. But still, if the lining was already irritated, I don't know that I would do enzymes like that. Either I might hold off on those until you were able to swallow a little bit better, and then you could be able to utilize those at that time. So again, I don't know your situation. I don't know if this is the right step for you. It just happened to be the right step for her and helped her correct the situation, because it appears that the lack of acid is what was creating the acid reflux for her. There's other causes of acid reflux, and we'll put a link in the description below for our video on why do I have acid reflux, so you can see other causes for that. But you can check that out, and what you could do now is jump over to our video on why can't my body make hydrochloric acid to see if there might be other issues that you can improve to help the body make hydrochloric acid on its own, so you wouldn't need to supplement with those capsules. I can't wait to hear about your results.